So we're just going to start off. If you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey as a design student.
Sure. So my name is Alexa Gillert. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. And as for my design journey, it's pretty interesting. I really didn't make the decision to choose fashion until my senior year of high school. I mostly was like super into athletics and I wanted to be an athletic trainer. And then senior year came around and I'd always liked art and always loved like going shopping and just like seeing what the new trends were. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should, lean into that. And I found Marist and it was just a perfect fit. So when I got to Marist, I didn't know how to use a sewing machine. I didn't know how to illustrate. Like I said, I was very new to the whole process. And I remember sitting in, our freshman year classes and everyone saying, oh, I took these classes at Parsons or these classes at FIT, or my high school had fashion classes. And I remember being like, oh God, like, did I bite off more than I could chew? And then I quickly realized that, Marist especially is here to help you and they're not gonna let you flounder. As for my design journey, there's not one specific person or designer that inspires me. I think what really keeps me, interested in fashion is the idea that fashion influences culture and culture really influences fashion. And I think it's so interesting how the consumers take such a big part in what fashion is. And I think that's really interesting to see how new things innovate and how trends come about. So I think that's really what keeps me inspired to design. My collection has a lot of elements that have to do with protecting yourself. So it's a lot of utility, there's a lot of padding. The masks are also a big part of my collection, and just trying to incorporate that into something creative. Of all the effects of COVID and also all the racial injustices that were happening. And I remember just being so angry and couldn't channel any of my energy creatively. So I remember thinking well, how do I take these feelings and try and create something good out of it? And doing research, I found this movie, which is from 1988, called Akira. It's a Japanese movie. And I was reading the plot, and I remember the plot points are just super similar to what were happening. And I took the idea of, the movie, kind of the general aesthetic of this kind of cyberpunk type of style, and then took the idea of, protection. Are we always going to have to wear masks? Are we always going to have to protect ourselves from, any, brutality? Or even with the climate change, what fabrics are they going to use in order to protect ourselves from the changing elements? I think a lot of brands are really taking the idea of transparency seriously, and I really appreciate that. Here's how much we pay our workers, here's where we source our materials, and I think that is a really huge step in the right direction, because I think transparency is the way to gain trust in your consumers. So I'm really glad to see that a lot more brands are taking that on.
Okay, well that's the end of this interview.
Awesome.
Thank you, you did a great job.
Thank you, so did you.
Thank you.
Woo! Thanks guys.